Do you know what is the sum of the exterior angles of any triangle?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's look at the simulation here. If you drive along the triangle, every turn makes an exterior angle. When you take 3 turns, you are at the initial position. So, what does it make?
Ma'am, a full circle.
Absolutely right, and that is?
Ma'am, a 360-degree angle.
Great work, Vansh.
Math learning should not feel like detention. Swap endless worksheets with engaging one-to-one classes by math experts.
Hi Ankit, how are you?
Hello everyone and welcome to this masterclass on speed math. My name is Manan and I am going to be your instructor for today's session. I run this company called Cuemath. Many of you are Cuemath students, but for those of you who don't know what Cuemath is, we are a K-10 math learning company. We help students like you become great at math. So if you're looking to become better at math, if you're looking to excel at math, you can give us a try and you can try out our classes. But welcome all of you to this session. Today we are going to talk about speed math, but before I get into that and what we're going to cover today, I just want all of you to write in the chat channel, which I can see on my right side here on a screen. I can see all of your responses. So I want all of you to tell me which country you are joining from and whether you are a Cuemath student or not. So just write your country and whether you are a Cuemath student or not in the chat channel so that I can see where everybody is from and who everybody is. So welcome once again to those of you who are joining now. We are just getting started in a minute. I have just asked all of you to share your country and whether you are a Cuemath student or not. Okay, I can see students joining from all over the world: India, New Zealand, Singapore, Denmark, France, Dubai. Wow, Nigeria. All right. So I've already counted about 20 unique countries in the chat. So that's awesome. Welcome all of you. Once again, to those of you who are just dialing in, welcome everybody. And I am really, really excited about meeting all of you and doing this session. So today we are going to talk about speed math. What is speed math? So speed math is essentially a skill that helps you do faster math calculations. In a lot of math problem solving, there are times when you need to calculate something, when you need to do something in your head. So speed math techniques and strategies help you do those calculations faster. Many of us think that math is just about speed math is just about fast calculations, but that's not really true. Math is a lot more than calculations. Math involves logical thinking, reasoning, problem solving, applying math concepts to the real world. But speed math is one important skill in math learning, and that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, here's a quick question, a quick poll for all of you. The question says, what math superpower would you choose? And there are 4 options. You can solve any problem, you never make a mistake, you're super fast at calculations, or you always think logically. So if you had a choice between these 4 math superpowers, which one would you choose? And this is a YouTube poll. So in the chat channel, you should be able to see 4 options corresponding to these options here. So just pick the one you would like for yourself. Which is the math superpower you would choose for yourself? Okay, I can see several hundred of you have responded and picked, one of these 4 options. I think most of you seem to have picked either A or D, so can solve any problem or always think logically. That's interesting because whenever I talk to students, many students tell me that they would like to be faster at math, but this group at least seems to be saying, let's see once again the latest results. Oh, okay, so now it's more evenly split. Most of you are saying can solve any problem, but then there's also quite a bit of you saying we want to be super fast at calculations. All right, okay, so evenly split among the 4 options. Great to see that. So today we are going to talk about the superpower number 3, which is how do you get to be super fast at calculations. So that's what speed math is all about, and speed math has a lot of tricks and strategies and techniques that you can use if you memorize them, and if you understand the reason why those techniques work, you can actually apply them to your day-to-day calculations, and you can actually become really fast at mental calculations. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. Let's get started right away. So speed math techniques, we'll also talk about why they work. Oftentimes I've seen students remember techniques, so they have seen the technique somewhere, they've seen the strategy somewhere, but they don't really know why that technique works. So in this session today, I'm going to be teaching you not just the strategy or the technique, but also why that technique works, so that you end up remembering it a lot better. And we'll also be doing a lot of practice, and then at the end of this session, we will have a fun Kahoot quiz, which all of you can participate in. It's really fun. It'll have questions from what we'll discuss in the sessions. So be attentive, follow me carefully, and have your notebook and pen ready to just take notes if you want to. And let's get started. I hope you have a lot of fun. So first, we are going to talk about addition strategies. How do you add numbers fast in your mind? So the first strategy is, let's start with an example, with a problem. So let's say you have to add the numbers 78 and 36. So you have to do 78 plus 36 in your mind. So can you do this in under, let's say, 20 seconds or under 10 seconds? 78 plus 36. A lot of you saying 114 already. Okay, I think many of you are already very fast. 114. So lots of you saying 114. So let me now show you a strategy whereby you can add numbers like these or find such sums in, let's say, under 3 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds. You should be able to do this really quickly. So what we'll do here is, and you might have used, some of you might have done it, the conventional way, like write it like this, 78, 36, and done that column-wise addition, which is how all of us normally learn addition in school. But today I'm going to teach you how to do this mentally. So the first strategy is which I call give and take. Give and take. So what does that mean? So it means that you have 78, you have 36, and both of these numbers are not easy numbers to add, because the ending digit here is an 8, the ending digit here is a 6. But what if you increased 78 by 2 to make it 80? So you increase 78 by 2 to make it 80, but then you would have to decrease 36 by 2 so that the sum stays the same, the overall sum stays the same. So the strategy is you make this number easier to add by taking something from here and giving it here. So you take 2 from 36 and add it to 78. So that 78 becomes 80 and 36 becomes 34, but the overall sum stays the same. So that's the idea here, give and take. So take from 36, give it to 78, and the sum gets modified into 80 plus 34. Now this is much more easier to do in your mind. 80 plus 34, so you can see that there are 8 tens, 3 tens, so that's 11 tens or 110, and then you have this 4, so 114. So that's give and take. You add 2, you take 2 from 36, add it to 78, so the sum becomes 80 plus 34, and the sum is then very easy to calculate. Okay, so yeah, that's the summary once again for those of you who did not follow along. 78 plus 36 take 2 from 36, add it to 78, the sum becomes 80 plus 34, and that is 114, which is super easy to calculate. So now you have 3 practice problems here where you have to apply the give and take strategy to find the sums. So do these quickly, and I want all 3 answers together in your message in the chat. So all 3 answers together. So the first few answers, correct answers, will get a call out. So 101, 83, 283, okay, I can see a lot of these answers coming in, 101, 83 and 283. So let's quickly now do the give and take strategy on all 3. So 32 and 69, let's take 1 from 32, give it to 69, so you get 31 plus 70, very easy to calculate, so this becomes 101. 45 and 38, so let's maybe take 38 to 40. So we take 2 from 45, so this becomes 43 plus 40, which is now 83. See how easy it is to calculate this sum versus this sum. What about 237 plus 46? So maybe let's take this one to the nearest 10, 237, let's take it to 240. So we will take 3 from 46, so that 237 becomes 240 and 46 becomes 43, and now this is very easy to calculate, this is 283. So 101, 83 and 283, these are the 3 answers. And look, this is the first strategy. You might find that this is very simple to do. Yes, it is very simple to do, but the idea is to be able to do this fast enough. So in the Kahoot session, in the Kahoot quiz at the end, is when you will be really tested on how fast you can apply this strategy. So that's the key here. The idea is simple, the strategy is simple, but you should be able to do it very fast and in your head without having to write all of this. Okay, so that's strategy number 1. Now, can we apply this to 3-digit numbers? So let's see. So we have 247, we have 698. Now this, as it is, this would be very difficult to calculate in our minds, but we can do the give and take thing and modify it to the much simpler. You take 2 from here and give it here. So you get 247 becomes 245 and 698 becomes 700. Now this sum is far easier to calculate. This is simply 945. Okay, so give and take applies to any set of numbers. It's a simple idea. You have a sum that's hard to calculate. You do some give and take so that the sum becomes easy to calculate, and then you just find the sum. Okay, so here's one more set of practice problems for you. So 2 problems here with 3-digit numbers. So tell me the 2 correct answers together in the chat channel. A lot of you saying 945, but I need both answers. 920. 922 is something a lot of you are saying, but then I'm also seeing a lot of 945s. Okay, some of you are asking me to move, so I've moved now. I hope you can see the 2 numbers, the 2 sums. Okay, so let's do the give and take now. So 326, 596, very hard. Let's take 4 from here, give it to 596. So we get 322 plus 600. Now this is much simpler to calculate. This is simply 922. 222 plus 489. So what do we do? So maybe 489 is 11 less than 500. So let's just take 11 from here and give it to 489. So 222 becomes 211, 489 becomes 500. So now you get this sum, much easier to calculate, and this is simply 711. So you see how fast we can do 3-digit sums also with this strategy, as long as there is a number that you can just move to a new number that makes calculating the sum easy. So in this case, you move 596 to 600, the sum becomes very easy to calculate. In this case, you change 489 to 500, the sum becomes very easy to calculate. So that's the strategy, give and take. I hope you liked it. Now I'll teach you another strategy to do addition really fast. This strategy is called left to right addition. So once again, it's a different technique from what you typically study in school. So in school, whenever you see a sum like this, as I said, you are taught to write the numbers in a column and add them ones first, then tens, then hundreds, and so on. So in school, typically, the strategy that you learn is right to left addition. So you do 78 and 36, and then you first add the ones. So you say, okay, 8 and 6, that's 14. So you write a 4 here, you carry over the 1 over here, and then you say that's 7, 3, and 1, so that's 11. So this is how you do addition in school. So you go from right to left. But the technique I am going to show you now is a left to right addition technique, and here is how it works. So you have 78, you have 36, so you start from the left. So you observe that we have a 7 here, which means 7 tens. We have a 3 here, which means 3 tens. So this 7, what it really means is 70, and this 3, what this really means is 30. So you just mentally say, okay, 70 plus 30, that's 100, and then you take 8 and 6, these are ones, so 8 and 6, that's 14. So you say, okay, 100 from the tens place and 14 from the ones place, so that's 114. So that's how you do the left to right addition. So you get 100 because you have 7 tens and 3 tens. You get a 14 because you have 8 ones and 6 ones, and then you just mentally add them, so you get 114. So that's left to right addition. And now it's time for you to show me how fast you can do this. Here are 3 problems. I want all 3 answers in a message from you in the chat. A lot of you saying 79, that's only the first part. I want all 3 answers. Okay, Indrani Sarkar, I think, has the first correct answer. Hiba Ahmed as well. Rishabh Mukherjee as well. Nice, nice work, all of you. Sunil Mishra, Ipshita. Okay, lots of correct answers by now. So let me now quickly show you how to do this. So 47 and 32. So we'll do this all mentally. So 4 and so this is 40, this is 30. So that's 70, and then 7 and 2 is 9, so that's 79. So this sum is 79. What about 327 plus 57? So you have a 3 here, that's 300. You don't have any hundreds here, so that's fine. So 300, then you have 2 and 5, that's 7, so that's 70. So 370 so far, and then you have 7 and 7, that's 14. So 370 plus 14 is 384. So that is the second one, and then you have 356 and 426. So 3 and 4, that's 700. 5 and 2, that's 70. So that's 770 so far, and then 6 and 6 is 12. So 770 plus 12, which is 782. So these are your 3 answers: 79, 384, and 782. So those of you who got all 3 correct, great job, very well done. Okay, now we will go to subtraction strategies, and how do you quickly find differences of 2 numbers. So first, tell me what is your answer to this one, 96 minus 29, and how do you do this? 96 minus 29. 67, many of you are saying it's 67, but many of you might have done this in the typical way, which is write 96, write 29, and now you find the difference. How do you find the difference? Well, you need to borrow a 1 from here. So you say this is 8, and you get a 1 here, so that's 16 now. So 16 minus 9 is 7, and then 8 minus 2 is 6. So many of us do subtraction this way because this is how we learnt it. But today I am going to show you some strategies that can help you find differences mentally. So let's look at the first strategy, which is what we call the same change rule. The same change rule, which means change both numbers by the same amount so that the difference becomes easy to calculate. Now, let me tell you what that means. So, follow me carefully because this might be a little confusing for some of you. 96 minus 29. Now, this number 29, because it has a 9 at the end, it makes it a little hard for us to calculate the difference mentally. But what if this number was 30 instead of 29? What if we moved this number or changed this number to 30 instead? But if we change this number to 30, we would also need to change this number so that the difference stays the same. Now, how do we do this change? How do we change both numbers so that the difference stays the same? So, let us imagine using a number line. So, imagine a number line where you have your numbers, natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. Now, let us say you have to find the difference 5 minus 2. So, 5 minus 2, you can think of 5 minus 2 as the difference between these two numbers 5 and 2. So, the difference is 3. But if you change 5 to 6, if you increase 5 to 6, how do you still maintain the same difference? If you increase 5 to 6, you would also need to increase 2 to 3 so that the difference stays the same. So, that is the key idea. You change both numbers by the same amount so that the difference stays the same, but it becomes easier to calculate. So, here is what we will do. We will change this to 30, we will increase this by 1, but then we will also need to increase this by 1 to 97. So, this difference can actually be calculated as 97 minus 30, and 97 minus 30 is really easy to calculate mentally. It is simply 67. So, we have our answer directly like this. So, increase both numbers, make one of them reach the nearest 10. So, 29 becomes 30, but then 96 becomes 97 and you get your difference as 67. So, that is the same change strategy, and now it is time for you to show me how fast you can do this. Here are 3 problems. Tell me the 3 correct answers in your message. Okay, so I can see some of you writing. Okay, Indrani again has the first correct set of answers. So, I need all 3 answers to be correct. Many of you are giving me only the first correct answer, which is 45, but I need all 3 answers to be correct. Okay, Murli, Gomti, I think. Okay, Shubhangi. Now, a lot of you sharing the correct answers. So, some of you are saying you did not understand this. Don't worry, I am going to show you once again with these 3 examples what you need to do to apply this strategy. So, the first one is 73 minus 28. So, what we will do is we will change this 28 to 30 so that it becomes easy to subtract, but then we will also need to change 73 to 75. So, this difference can actually be calculated as 75 minus 30, which is simply 45. So, the first correct answer is 45. What about this one? 86 minus 54. So, what you can do is 2 things. You could either change this 54 to 50, the nearest 10, or to 60, which is the next highest 10. So, let us change this to 50, which is the lower 10. So, if we decrease 54 by 4, this becomes 50, but then this also will need to be decreased by 4 so that the difference stays the same. So, 86 becomes 82. So, 82 minus 50 is 32. The other way you could have done this is you could have increased 54 to 60, you could have increased it by 6 to get 60, but then you would also have to increase 86 by 6 to get 92. So, you could have done this as 92 minus 60, which is once again 32. So, you can see very flexible strategy. Whatever you find easier, you can do that, but you need to change both numbers by the same amount. The third one here, 475 minus 197. This one is actually fairly obvious what you need to do. You need to change this 197 to 200 by increasing it by 3, but then you also need to increase this one by 3. So, you get 478 minus 200. 478 minus 200, very easy to calculate. This would be 278. So, that is your answer. and that's how you apply the same change strategy. All right, now let's keep going. This is a new type of problem now where you have to subtract 358 from 1000. So tell me what your answer is in the comments. 1000 minus 358, what will it be? $642, Jagdish Chaudhary says 642. A lot of you saying 642. Okay, so the typical way many of us would do this is we'll again do the column wise. We'll do the column wise, write the two numbers column wise like this. So we have 1000, we write 358 below this, and then we'll do that borrow thing that all of you hopefully already know. So we start from this one here, we cross it out and carry over, like borrow the one to the next column, and then keep doing that till you get a 10 in the last place. So you do, what you're really doing now is in the last ones column you're doing 10 minus 8, so that's 2, but then everywhere else you are doing 9 minus 5, so you get 4, and here you have 9 minus 3, which gives you 6. So that's how you get 642. But what you are really doing here, you could actually have done this mentally without writing out this whole column wise thing. And how could you have done that? So what you're really doing here is nothing but subtracting this last digit from 10, so that's simply 2, and subtracting the other digits from 9. So you are subtracting 5 from 9, that gives you 4, you're subtracting 3 from 9, that gives you 6. So whatever you've done here, you could have simply done it mentally just by doing what this strategy says here. Subtract every digit from 9, but just subtract the last digit from 10, and that's it. That gives you the difference instantly. So let's once again see what I mean. So you have 1000 minus 358. So the last digit is 8. You subtract it from 10 mentally. That gives you 2. Now the other digits you subtract from 9. So you have 5 from 9 is 4, 3 from 9 is 6, and you directly get 642 as the answer. So that's the strategy here. And now two problems for you. 1000 minus 763, 1000 minus 394. Tell me the correct answers quickly in the chat. Okay, I have one partial correct answer. Priyanka Garg, I think. And now lots of other correct answers coming in. So those of you who are sending in smileys and other unrelated messages, my request to you, please refrain from doing that so that we can actually focus on what we are learning and I can see everybody's answers. So 1000 minus 763. So we'll subtract all digits from 9 and the last one from 10. So 7 from 9 is 2, 6 from 9 is 3, and 3 from 10 is 7. So that's it. 237, you directly calculate this in your mind. 394 from 1000, so you subtract 3 from 9, that's 6. You subtract 9 from 9, that's 0, and you subtract 4 from 10, so that's 6. So 606 is the second part. So 237 and 606 are the two correct answers here. Now you can also apply this if the number you are subtracting is, let's say you have 1000, but you are subtracting 78 from 1000. So what do you do in this case? The strategy stays the same. You simply imagine this 2-digit number as a 3-digit number with 0 at the hundreds place like this. So you're really doing 1000 minus 078, and now the rest of the strategy stays the same. You subtract 0 from 9, so that gives you 9. You subtract 7 from 9, that gives you 2, and you subtract 8 from 10, that gives you 2. So you get 922, and that's your answer in this case. So this strategy applies even if you're subtracting from let's say 1000, you're subtracting a 2-digit number, or from 10,000 perhaps you're subtracting a 3-digit number, and so on. Okay, here are two more problems for you. 10,000 minus 7358, 10,000 minus 643. Tell me your answers quickly in the comments. I don't see any correct answer so far. Okay, Murli Mohan, I think, has Wow, you guys are responding so fast that I'm unable to follow all the messages, but I think Indrani Sarkar, Priyanka Garg, Joanne Phillips, I think has one of the answers correct. Okay, let me do this now for you. So 10,000 minus 7358. So we will subtract all these digits from 9 and the last one from 10. So 7 from 9 is 2, 3 from 9 is 6, 5 from 9 is 4, and 8 from 10 is 2. So 2642 is the first correct answer. In the second one, from 10,000 you are actually subtracting a 3-digit number. So you will need to think of the thousands place as having a 0 to make this strategy work. And now you just subtract 0 from 9, so that's 9, 6 from 9 is 3, 4 from 9 is 5, and 3 from 10 is 7. So 9357 is the second correct answer. All right, great job to all of you who got this right, and I hope you liked this strategy. Let's keep moving. Now here's a different type of problem, and this one is actually really cool. You have to subtract from a 3-digit number, you have to subtract its reverse. So 543 minus 354. So this is what you have to find. So can you tell me the answer? 543 minus 354. $189. Wow, so many of you are saying okay, actually this problem is written incorrectly. This is what I want you to find is 543 minus 345. So this there is a typo here, so this ignore this. The strategy here that we're talking about is from a 3-digit number, we are subtracting the reverse. So 543, if you reverse the digits, you get 345. So that is the number I want you to subtract. So sorry about that. What I really wanted to do is this second one, 543 minus 345. Okay, so now I see the answers coming in correct. 198. 198 is the correct answer. So I think many of you might have done it like this. So you would have written 543 and then 345 below it like this, and then done the subtraction by doing the borrow thing and so on. But once again, we are in a speed math session, so there's actually a very cool strategy here that you can use to do this in an instant. So when you have this kind of a problem where from a number you're subtracting its reverse, there is actually a very cool strategy that you can apply. So let's see what that strategy is. But yeah, for that I want you to quickly work out these other two problems as well. So the first one you've already told me, 543 minus 345 is 198. What about these two? So for 397 and for 831, what answers do you get? So for 397, the subtraction you will do is 793 minus 397. For 831, the subtraction you will do is 831 minus 138. So can you tell me these answers? $396, okay, is one answer, yeah, 396. What about the last one? Okay, 693, all right. Okay, so some of you have gotten the correct answer to this one as well. So this is 397 minus 793 minus 397, so that's 396, and this one here is 693. So these are your three answers once again. So to those of you who have not really fully calculated so far, here are the answers. For 543, when you do this thing, 543 minus 345, you get 198. For 397, when you find this difference, you get 396. For 831, when you find this difference, you get 693. Now here's the key. Now let me tell you what the strategy is. I don't know if some of you observed any pattern in the answers, like any pattern for 198, 396 and 693. So these are all numbers of a specific type, and let me tell you what that is. So 198, the first answer that you got is actually 200 minus 2. 396, the second answer that you got is 400 minus 4. and 693, the third answer that you got is 700 minus 7. So, all the answers that we are getting are of the form some hundreds minus that number. So, 100 times some number minus that number itself. So, here it is 200 minus 2, here it is 400 minus 4, here it is 700 minus 7. So, very interesting and strange pattern, but that is what it is. So, this leads us to our strategy now, but we have to first think about where are these numbers coming from, where is this 2 coming from, where is this 4 coming from, where is this 7 coming from. And the strategy is the way these numbers are where these numbers are coming from is essentially the original number that you are working with. You just look at their first and last digits. So, for 543 you look at 5 and 3 and you find their difference. So, the difference of 5 and 3 is 2. So, you just do 200 minus 2 and that gives you your answer 198. For the second number, you have 3 and 7 as your first and last digits. The difference is 4. So, you do 400 minus 4 and you get your answer 396. And then for 831, the first and last digits are 8 and 1, the difference is 7. So, you do 700 minus 7 and you get 693 as your answer. So, that is the strategy here. When you have to subtract from a 3-digit number, you have to subtract its reverse, you look at the first and last digits, find the difference, and whatever number you get, you do 100 times that number minus that number and you get your answer. Okay? So, let us see if you understood this strategy. Maybe let me give you another example. Tell me what 817 minus 718 will be. Quickly, 817 minus 718. Lot of you saying 99. So, let us see. So, the first and last digits 8 and 7. So, the difference is 1. So, we do 100 minus 1. So, that is 99 and yes, 99 is the answer to this difference. Okay. So, that is the strategy. Alright. So, let us now time for you to do some practice. So, tell me your answers for these 3 numbers, reverse and subtract these 3 numbers and tell me your answers. So, for the first one you will have to do 918 minus 819, 431 minus 134. Here for 139 you will need to do 931 minus 139. So, what are your 3 answers? Okay, 99, 297, 792. Swastika, Udaya, Krishang, Indrani, Murli. Okay, all of you pitching in with correct answers. Someone is asking me to shout out their names. Let us see who that is. Nihaya, Nikki. All right. Yeah, I think so. I think you have the correct answer. Narendra too. Narendran. Yes. Okay. So, for 918, the first and last digits are 9 and 8. Difference is 1. 100 minus 1, 99. So, the answer here will be 99. 431 minus 134. So, the difference of first and last digits is 3. So, 300 minus 3 or 297. 139. 931 minus 139, the difference is 8. So, 800 minus 8, that is 792. So, that will be the answer in this case. Very cool strategy. Now, 2 follow-up problems for you to try and figure out after this session. The first one is, why do you think this strategy works? Why do you think it works? What is the reason that it works? So, that is number 1. Number 2 is, if you had to extend this strategy to a 4-digit number, how would you do it? So, for example, if you had something like 8132 minus the reverse 2318, how would you extend this strategy to such a problem? So, this is something I want you to try and figure out after this session. Okay? Now, let us keep going. We will now do multiplication strategies, some very cool quick multiplication techniques that you can use to calculate products quickly. The first one is multiplying by 9. So, 16 times 9, very simple product, you might even remember it as 144, but the strategy is whenever you are multiplying by 9, you can actually first multiply by 10 and then subtract the number you are multiplying first. So, 16 times 9 can be thought of as 16 times 10, that's 160, minus that number. So, 160 minus 16 or 144. Now, really simple strategy because 9 is simply 10 minus 1. So, when you are multiplying 16 with 10 minus 1, you are essentially saying, okay, let me first multiply with 10, which is 160, and then subtract 116, this 16, and then I get 144. So, that's multiplying by 9. Here are 3 problems for you quickly. Tell me the correct answers. I need all 3 answers to be correct for a shout out. Okay, let's see. Krishang, I think Swastika, Murli, first 3 correct answers. All right. So, let me show you how to do these. 35 times 9 will be 35 times 10 minus 35. So, 350 minus 35 is 315. 48 times 9 is 48 times 10, that's 480 minus 48. Now, 480 minus 48, now let me just quickly show you how you can do this quickly. 480 minus 48, and you have to do this mentally in your mind. So, you can do 480 minus 50, which is 430, and then add a 2. So, because you have to subtract 48, you can actually subtract 50 first and then add a 2 back. So, 480 minus 48 is 430 plus 2, so that's 432. And yeah, I think a lot of you got this one right. And then 99 times 9 is 990 minus 99. So, once again 990 minus 99. So, you can actually subtract 100, which is 890, and then add a 1. So, that gives you 891. Okay. So, these are your 3 correct answers. Now, how do we extend the same idea to multiplying by 11? So, in this case we have 16 times 11, which is actually 176, but the idea is the same. When you are multiplying by 11, you actually first multiply by 10 and then add the number again. So, 16 times 11 can be thought of as 16 times 10, which is 160, and then add one more 16. So, you get 160 plus 16 or 176. So, that is the strategy here, just multiply by 10 first and then add the number again. But there is also another way to do this strategy, and this is really cool, and I found that many students do not know this strategy. So, let me show you how this works. So, 16 times 11, what you do is when you have to multiply a number like this with 11. So, you write the 2 digits 1 and 6 and leave a space in the middle, and then you just add these two. 1 plus 6 is 7, you add 1 and 6, 7, and you write it in the middle 176, and that is your answer directly. So, let us apply it to some other number. So, let us say you have to do 27 times 11. So, you have 2 and 7. So, you write 2 and 7, and in the middle you write 2 plus 7 or 9. So, you get 297. Let us take one more example. Suppose you have to do 34 times 11. So, how do you do this? So, you have 3 and 4, and then in the middle you write 3 plus 4, that is 7. So, 374. Now, one final example, let us say you have to do 59 times 11. So, how do you do this one? So, you write 5 and 9, and then in the middle you write 5 plus 9 or 14, but 14 can't go in a 2 digits can't go in one place. So, you write 4 here, and then the one that you got you add it here, and you get 649. So, that is how you multiply by 11 quickly, and this is, I find this to be a very, very cool strategy. Now, here are 3 problems for you. You can either do multiply by 10 first and then add 1 the number again, or you can do the other way I told you, but tell me the 3 correct answers. Okay, Krishang again, Indrani, Murli Mohan. Let me see if I can find some new names. Moses, Brain Matrix, all right. A lot of you now pitching in with correct answers. So, 35 times 11, so let me do the second strategy I told you. So, 3 and 5, and then in the middle we write 8, so that is 385. 23 times 11, so 2 and 3, in the middle we write 5, so 253. 56 and 11, so 5 and 6, and in the middle we have to write 5 plus 6 or 11. So, I write a 1 here, and the other one I take to this place and increase it by 1. So, that is 616. So, 616 is the answer to the third one. Okay. So, that is the strategy of multiplying by 11. Now, we come to the next type of problem. So, 16 times 25. Let us say you have to do this product quickly in your mind. So, typically kids would do it like this. So, they would write 16, 25 below it, and then do the multiplication column wise as we have all been taught. But in many cases we can actually apply this strategy, which is called doubling and halving. So, the way it works is, and it works for a specific set of numbers or a specific type of numbers. In this case, what we will do is, we find that if we double 25, it becomes 50, and if we halve 16, it becomes 8. And that product is actually easier to calculate. So, instead of calculating 16 times 25, we double this, but we halve this, and that is necessary because you have to keep the product the same. So, you can't just double one number and forget about the other. So, if you are doubling one number, you have to halve the other number so that the overall product remains the same. So, in this case, you have 16 times 25, you double 25 becomes 50, you halve 16, it becomes 8. But now you do this again, you double 50, that becomes 100, you halve 8, that becomes 4, and now 4 times 100 is really easy to calculate, it is simply 400. So, you can actually calculate 16 times 25 very quickly mentally in your mind by doing this doubling and halving. Okay. So, let us see another example of this. So, we have 12 times 35, and now you think in your mind that okay, if I double this 35, it becomes 70, that will be easier to multiply, but then I will also have to halve this. So, I halve this, 12 becomes 6, 35 becomes 70. So, now I have to calculate 6 times 70, and this is easy because 6 times 7 is 42, and then you have a 0. So, 420 is the answer. So, that is the strategy, doubling and halving. Now, here are 3 problems for you. Tell me quickly your 3 correct answers, your 3 answers in the comments. All 3 correct answers. Okay, Swastika has the first set of correct answers. Vanessa, the final whistle, whoever that is. All right, lots of correct answers coming in now. So, let me just go ahead and solve these for you. And to those of you who did not follow earlier, just listen to me carefully. 14 times 50. So, let us halve 14 and double 50. So, you get 7 times 100, that is 700. 24 times 25. So, half 24, double 25, you get 12 times 50, do it again. So, you get 6 times 100, so that is 600. So, you halve one number, you double the other number, the product stays the same. 16 times 75. So, let us halve 16, so that is 8, double 75, that is 150. So, 8 times 150, do it again, 4 times 300, you get 1200. So, and remember, you have to do this in your mind, that is the whole idea of speed math. You have to do this doubling and halving in your mind, and that is why I am trying to show you how to do it in your mind. Okay. Someone's asking me, can I eat my lunch, sir? Yes, of course. Please go ahead and feel free to do that. Okay, let us keep going now. Now, here is a very cool strategy to multiply numbers, which is like found in Vedic math, which is actually a set of techniques evolved in ancient India to do calculations fast. And this strategy here is something called Nikhilam Sutra. So, here is what it says, that if you have to multiply numbers of this kind, so 97 times 94, which are 2 numbers that are very close to 100. So, how do you do that? So, 97 times 94 is actually, 97 is actually 100 minus 3, 94 is 100 minus 6. So, these numbers here that you are subtracting from 100, 3 and 6. So what you do is you add them. So 3 and 6 is 9. So the left part of your answer will now be 100 minus 9, which is 91, and the right part of your answer will be 3 times 6, which is 18. And then you just write 9118, and that becomes your answer. So let me show you once again how to do this. And by the way, there is no magic here, no secret here. This is actually very simple algebra. That some of you might be able to figure out after this session if you spend a few minutes on this. But the strategy says when you have to subtract numbers like this, which are, let's say, both numbers are close to 100. So in this case, 97 times 94. So 97 is 100 minus 3, 94 is 100 minus 6. So the two numbers you are subtracting are 3 and 6. So you add the two numbers, which is 9, and the left part of your answer is now 100 minus 9, which is 91. The right part of your answer is 3 times 6, that's 18, and the overall answer is 9118. So that's the technique here. Let me show you with one more example. In this case, you have to do 106 times 108. So 106 is 100 plus 6, 108 is 100 plus 8. So you're adding these numbers 6 and 8. So the left part of your answer will be, now in this case you have to add. So 6 plus 8 is 14. So the left part of your answer will be 100 plus 14. Remember, in the previous example, it was 100 minus 9 because you were subtracting these two numbers. But in this case, you have 6 plus 8 or 14. So the left part of your answer is 100 plus 14 or 114. The right part of your answer is 6 times 8. 6 times 8, that's 48. So the overall answer is 114 and then 48, which is 11,448. So that is the technique here. Let me show you once again, just so that you are super clear. So if you have to do 96 times 95, let's say. So mentally you visualize in your mind, or you think in your mind that 96 is 100 minus 4, 95 is 100 minus 5, and therefore, how do you find the sum? So 4 and 5, these are your two numbers you are subtracting. So their sum is 9. So the left part of the answer will be 100 minus 9 or 91. The right part of the answer will be 4 times 5 or 20. So 9120. Okay. In this case, let me show you once again. 108 times 102. So you're really doing 100 plus 8 times 100 plus 2. So your two numbers are 8 and 2. Their sum is 110. So the left part of the answer will be 110. So their sum is 10. So the left part is 100 plus 10 or 110. The right part is 8 times 2 or 16. So 11016 would be your answer in this case. Okay, now here are two more problems for you. Tell me your two correct answers now. 99 times 93, 104 times 109. You have to do this in your mind. That's the idea. You have to do this in your mind. I don't see any correct answer yet. Okay, Krishang, I think, has the first correct answer. Shweta Ramesh, perhaps. Some of you saying you kind of missed it. So let me once again show you with these two examples. So here you have to do 99 times 93. So 99 is 100 minus 1, so you're subtracting 1. 93 is 100 minus 7, so you're subtracting 7. So these are your two numbers, 1 and 7. So the left part of your answer will be 1 plus 7, that's 8. So 100 minus 8 or 92. The right part of your answer will be 1 times 7, so that's 7, but you'll have to write a 0 here. Because your answer is actually a 4-digit number. So the right part of your answer is 1 times 7, which is 07. So your overall answer is 9207. In this case, 104 times 109. So you're adding a 4 to 100 and you're adding a 9 to 100 and you're multiplying the two numbers. So the sum is 13. So the left part of your answer is 113 and their product is 36. So the right part of your answer is 36 and your overall answer is 11336, and this is how you can calculate such products. where both numbers are, let's say, close to 100. All right, let's 3 more questions for you, and then I think we're almost done to go to the Kahoot. But here, tell me the 3 answers together in the chat. Okay, some of you asking me to call you out. Ikan, Ilash, Anika, all right, Somaya Das, all of you doing a great job. Let's see if anybody can give me all 3. Okay, let's see, Indian, Asian, Python. Yeah, all of your answers are correct. Amazing job. Yeah, okay, let's see. Inayatullah Jamali also, I think, has the correct answer. All right, so some of you saying this strategy is a bit harder. Yes, it is. That's why it's towards the end of the session. But let's do it now. So 97 times 96, so you're subtracting 3 and 4. So the left part of the answer will be 100 minus their sum, which is 7. So 100 minus 7 is 93. The right part of the answer will be 3 times 4 or 12. So 9312 is the answer here. In this case, 104 times 108, so you're adding 4 and 8. Their sum is 12, so the left part of the answer will be 112, and their product is 32. So the right part of the answer will be 32. So you get 11232. In this case, you are subtracting, you are multiplying 91 times 89. 91 is 100 minus 9. 89 is 100 minus 11. Okay. So now their sum is 20. Which you have to subtract from 100. So you get your left part as 80, and their product is 9 times 11 or 99. So the right part of the answer is 99. So 8099 is the correct answer in this third case. Okay. All right. Here is now our last strategy for this session, which is squaring a number ending in 5. Very cool strategy, very simple. Let's say you have to calculate 25 times 25. So squaring means multiplying a number by itself. So for example, when we do 7 times 7, we say that we have squared 7, we have multiplied 7 by itself. So when you have to do such squaring when the number is ending in 5, it's actually very easy. You look at the leading digit, in this case is 2, you multiply 2 with the next number, so 2 times 3, so that's 6. So you just write 6 and then you write 25, and that's your answer. So 625. In this case, you have 45 times 45. So for the 5, you just write 25, and then in front of it you have this digit as 4. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times the next number, 4 times 5 is 20. So you write 20 here, you get 20, 25. In this case, you have 35 times 35. So you write 25, you know the answer will end in 25, and then in front of it, you write 3 times the next number, which is 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. So you get 1225. So that's really the idea here. You just take the leading digit, multiply it by its next number, you write that, and then at the end you write 25, and that is your answer. Okay. So yeah, that's what this slide here says as well. Once again, observe carefully. All the answers are ending in 25, as you can see here. And to get the front part of the answer, you just take the leading digit, multiply it by its next number, and write it over here. So you get 625 here, you get 4 times 5 or 20, so 2025, you get 3 times 4 or 12, so 1225 in this case. Okay. So now here are 3 problems for you quickly. Tell me your 3 correct answers in the chat. All 3 answers. I need to see all 3 answers together for a shout out. Okay, Ipshita Sudhanwa, I think, has the first. Tehmeed Nusair also. Swastika as well. Okay, now a lot of you giving me correct answers. So let's do this quickly. 45 times 45, so let's write 25, and then 4 times 5 is 20, so you get 20, 25. 75 squared, so let's write 25. and then 7 times 8 is 56, so 5625. 95 times 95, so let's write 25, and then 9 times 10 is 90, so 9025. This is the correct answer here. All right. So now lastly, for this event, for this session, when we emailed you the invite, we actually also included a challenge in that. How would you solve a problem like this? Now today I told you a strategy to do this, which is a Nikhilam Sutra, but we also asked you in the email how you would solve this problem, 95 times 98. So I'm happy to announce that we have 2 winners who submitted some cool entries. The winner for this one is Samrudh MK from grade 7, and here's what he said he'd do. So 95 times 98, so he'll first multiply 95 with 100 to get 9500, and then because 98 is 2 less than 100, he would subtract 95 times 2, which is 190. So 9500 minus 190 is 9310. Good strategy, Samrudh. So you are the winner, and you will get a bunch of free classes and a bag of goodies from us. The runner-up was Mihir, once again from grade 7. Mihir actually did a very interesting thing. He said, I'll first multiply 95 by 100 to get 9500, and then I will subtract not 190 like in the previous case. I'll actually subtract 200 because 95 is close to 100. So I'll subtract 100 times 2, so that's 200, but then I will add back 5 times 2 or 10 to get 9310. So a bit more indirect. I don't know how many of you followed this strategy by Mihir, but we found it to be very cool. So we actually thought we should award Mihir for submitting this entry. So Samrudh and Mihir are our 2 winners for this. Mihir also will get a few free classes from us. All right, so that ends our session, the learning part, and now we'll spend a few minutes doing a very fun Kahoot quiz. I hope all of you are ready to apply the strategies we learned today. So what you have to do is you have to join the Kahoot quiz using this game pin 994492. So you can go to kahoot.it, or if you have the Kahoot app, you can go there and join using this game pin 994492. Please enter your correct names so that if you end up showing on the leaderboard, we know who you are and I can call you out. Okay? We'll give it a minute to enable all of you to join. Okay, Akshara says, I want to shout out to Mrs. Varsha ma'am. She's my favorite teacher. All right. I'm pretty sure Varsha ma'am is awesome. So, to those of you who still don't know how to join, go to kahoot.it, or if you have the Kahoot app, go there and join using this game pin 994492. I'm going to wait 30 more seconds to start this quiz. 30 more seconds. Okay, 10 more seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Okay, here's your first question. Are you ready? Are you ready? And the options are yes or no. Okay, all of you, most of you said you are ready, 5 of you said you're not. So please be ready, and remember that Kahoot rewards you for both accuracy as well as speed. So you have to be both correct and you have to be fast in responding if you want to gain more points and show up on the leaderboard. After every question, we'll have a leaderboard come up like this. Right now it says VA, Nihaya Nikki, Nihaya and Nikki. Okay, so I think it's 2 players, Satyaki, Naman and Swarun. But this leaderboard keeps on changing after every problem. So be fast, be accurate, and hopefully you show up on the very top of the leaderboard. Okay, let's go. Here is our first actual question. Which of the following has the same value as this sum? All right, large number of you got this one right. So this was give and take. So 34 plus 96. So we had to do give and take. Take 4 from 34, give it to 96. So this becomes 30. This becomes 100. So 30 plus 100 was the correct option. So let's see the leaderboard. All right, Aishik at the top, Bilal, Ishan, Chandan, and Bridge. Good job to all of you. But this was the very first question. All of you have a lot of chances to climb the leaderboard. Now, here's our next question. Which of the following has the same value as this sum? 296 plus 565. All right, a lot of you got this one correct as well, give and take. So take 4 from 565, give to 296, so that becomes 300 plus 561, which was the green option. So let's see the leaderboard. Shifted a little bit, Bilal at the top now, Ishan, Chandan, Eva Mariam and Anurag Guha, 2 new names on the leaderboard. All right, great job. Next question, subtract the numbers. 675 minus 198. Okay, large number of you got this one as right. So the strategy here was the same change strategy. So 675 minus 198. So increase both by 2. So it becomes 677 minus 200, which is 477. So this yellow option was the correct one. I can see one of you persistently messaging Anu and Atharv wanting me to call out Vidhi ma'am. Okay, Vidhi ma'am, great job with your students. So let's see the leaderboard now. Shifted, wow. Ishan now at the top. Edwin, new name on the leaderboard. Krishang, new name again. Anurag and Eva are the top 5 now. Great job. Keep that going. Now this question is for double points. Which of these has the same value as this subtraction? 174 minus 39. Okay, this was again the same change strategy. So 174 minus 39, increase both by 1. So this becomes 175 minus 40, which is the blue option. Let's see the leaderboard. Shifted, Ishan still at the top, but then we have Anurag, Dhiya, new name, Vanya, new name, Edwin are the top 5 players now. All right, let's keep going. But remember, students, for those of you who are using a calculator, please don't do that, because the whole point of this session is speed math and mental calculation. So if you're using a calculator, please don't do that. Okay, here's our next question, double points. Subtract these numbers. Subtract these numbers. 10,000 minus 853. All right, many of you got this correct. 10,000 minus 853. Think of a 0 here. Subtract all digits from 9, the last one from 10. 0 from 9 is 9, 8 from 9 is 1, 5 from 9 is 4, and 3 from 10 is 7. So 9147 was the correct answer, which is the green option. Let's look at the leaderboard now. Changed a little bit. Ishan at the top, Anurag, Vanya, Pihu, new name. Shri Krish, 2 new names on the leaderboard, I think. Great job. Avyan has the highest answer streak of 6. All right, great job, Avyan. Let's keep going. Question number 7 now. What's the difference between this number and its reverse? Remember the strategy? 673 minus 376. A lot of you got this one right as well. So the strategy was first and last digits, the difference is 3. So 300 minus 3 or 297, which is the yellow option, was the correct one. Let's look at the leaderboard. Okay, new name GV Tharun on the leaderboard. A lot of you lost your answer streaks for some reason on this problem, but still a few more questions to go. Here is question number 8 for double points. Which of these equals the difference between this number and its reverse? All right, almost all of you got this right, 721. So difference between 7 and 1 is 6. So 600 minus 6, which is the red option. That was the correct answer. Leaderboard changed a little bit. Ishan, Shrikrish, Anurag, Guha, I think, just climbed on the leaderboard. Pihu, GV, Tharun. Okay. Viraj Jajodia is the highest climber, up 66 places. All right, Viraj, great job. Now here is question number 9. To multiply a number by 11, we can do what? Wow, many of you got this wrong. You selected multiplied by 10 and add 11. Why add 11? You have to multiply it by 10 and add the same number again. So like 23 times 11, you multiply 23 by 10 and then add 23 once more. So that was the correct answer, the yellow option. So let's look at the leaderboard. Shuffle a little bit again. Krishan G is on the leaderboard now. New name on the leaderboard, I think. Now let's keep going. Question number 10. For double points, multiply the numbers. Multiply the numbers. 39 times 9. Okay, many of you got this right. You had to do multiplication by 10. So 390 minus 39. 390 minus 39 is 351. So you subtract 40 and add 1. So 351. So that's the blue option. Let's look at the leaderboard. Oh, new name Manjari on the leaderboard. And Sharan Adusumil is back with an answer streak of 3. All right. Here are the last 4 questions. Multiply the numbers 18 times 50. So remember doubling and halving. 18 times 50. Alright, most of you got this right. The strategy was halve 18, double 50. So 9 times 100 is 900. The green option, that was the correct one. And leaderboard, Vihan Garg is a new name on the leaderboard. Alright, 3 more questions to go. This one is for double points. Multiply the numbers. 95 times 94. Okay, 8920. So let's see. So we are subtracting 5 and 6 from 100 respectively. So 5 and 6, the sum is 11. So the left part of the answer will be 100 minus 11 or 89. The right part of the answer will be 5 times 6 or 30. So 5 times 6 or 30. So that's 8930. Okay, but we have the option 8920 here, which I think is what all of you have, or majority of you have selected. But actually the correct answer should have been 8930, I think. But anyway, I think that's why most of you picked this option 8920. So let's keep going, and the leaderboard has shifted. GV, Tarun, Pihu, Vihan, Edwin, Sumita, all right, are now the top 5. Ashwik B is the highest climber, up 43 places. All right, so apologies for that little typo, but I think most of you got the drift of the answer. So here's our second last question. Multiply these numbers, 75 times 75. So remember the squaring strategy when a number ends in 5. All right, most of you got this right. So write 25 and then 7 times 8 is 56. So 5625, the red option was the correct one. So let's look at the leaderboard. Not shifted at all right. Okay, so GV, Tarun, Pihu, Vihan, Edwin, Sumita. Now we have the last question. This one is for double points. To find the square of this number, what must we do? Okay, I think most of you got this right. For some reason, some of you selected multiply 4 and 5, but you have this digit 5 here, so you have to multiply 5 and 6 and then write 25 next to it. So the correct answer was this blue option here. So that concludes our quiz. Let's look at the winners now. On number 3 is Edwin Kodali. All right, Edwin, congrats. Number 2 is GV Tarun. All right, and number 1 is Vihan Garg. All right, great job to the winners, to everybody else who participated. And if anyone lost their leaderboard position because of that one incorrect option, don't worry. These things happen. You will get more chances to play, to compete on the leaderboard the next time we have such sessions. But I hope all of you enjoyed the quiz. I hope you liked the strategies we learned today. And that concludes our session for today. Thank you for attending. To those of you who are not Cuemath students, if you want to excel at math, you can give us a try. You can try Cuemath. You can get a free trial class with us. And we would love to help you achieve all your math goals. So thank you very much for attending. I hope to see you soon in a session coming up very soon. Have a good day.